What's up? My name is Rich and I am a full-time Etsy seller, and this has to do with selling on Etsy in 2020. So this is pretty much just my experience of selling on Etsy within the past couple of years. I started, 2014, 15, 16? One of those years. You can see it in one of my previous videos. It's been a few years now, and I'm just gonna discuss some of the most popular questions that I've seen throughout the year in Facebook groups and whatnot. So one of the most popular questions is saturation. The only thing saturated about Etsy to me is the question itself. So there's things like t-shirts. I sell t-shirts. A lot of people say it's a saturated market. Really, for me, it's a competitive market. That's what I would rather say. So if you wanna jump into t-shirts and start making money off of t-shirts, you just gotta be ready to grind. It's not like a few years back. T-shirts used to be super profitable on Etsy. You used to be able to make a lot more than you can now. And it was a whole lot easier, and the income was amazing for the amount of listings you have up. At this point in time, you just gotta get a lot of listings up, a lot of quality listings up, and those prices have to be competitive. That's the thing now. So you might make a lower profit per shirt, but it's still profitable, and it's a very competitive niche. I know some of y'all say niche, but I've been saying niche my whole life, so whatever. So that's the thing about that. However, you can also still find different niches where it's not as competitive, such as, I think somebody said, I saw someone who's a wood engraver. I know some people sell loose jewelry. Loose diamonds actually makes a large amount of revenue, but I'm not too sure about the profit numbers on those. But I know there are other niches that's not as competitive. However, as far as selling t-shirts, you can make some decent money. I've done well over 6 figures for the past few years. I've saw other sellers also do well over 6 figures in the groups. So it's not necessarily saturated, it's just very competitive. And the thing about it is you have to treat it like a real job. A lot of people come on Etsy and think you can list up a few things and start making a decent income. Really, you have to create yourself a schedule and understand the fact that if you have a 9 to 5, when you get off 9 to 5, you need to really clock in again from 6 to 11 on a consistent basis, instead of just clocking in on Thursdays or clocking in on Fridays, putting in 12 hours worth of work, and then you feel drained and you're like, Etsy is not working for me. The thing is, you have to treat your side hustle like it's a full-time hustle. So that's the thing about Etsy, is you feel like you failed, but you really need to switch it up. And another thing about Etsy is, even though you put in your all and you can't get any sales out of it, one thing that's kind of hurtful, but I know it's true, is you really have to look at the product that you're selling. Is it something that people want? Is it something that people is buying? So you have to do research on that. Etsy's not just a place for anything. You still have to do your research. Is the product that you're offering, something that people are going to pay for? So you have to think about that. And I know that's kind of hurtful, because you put in your all into something and you list it up and it doesn't sell, because before I did t-shirts, I've done other things and I put in my all, and at a point in time, you have to realize that you got to give it up and move on to the next product. So you have to sell products that people want. So that's another reason why you could be failing on Etsy. And also right now, I don't know the numbers, but Etsy's at a special point right now where they are growing. The issue is the fact that everything is it's a handmade marketplace, right? But at a point in time, us amateur sellers, we scale up because we're doing well in sales, so we need to hire out work and stuff. And there's a fine line between something being handmade or somebody going to get something in mass production and selling it on the marketplace itself. So that is a difficult thing in Etsy right now. At the same time as we try to find where we belong, Etsy's trying to find where they belong. But they're still trying to stay true to the handmade marketplace. So that is going to be a difficult process for them, as well as them being a publicly traded company. They need to make as much profit and as much revenue as possible. So there's decisions that's out of our control. One thing that's been brought up a lot recently is the order defect rate. This is something that's really normal in other marketplaces, such as Amazon. The only thing that was confusing about it is the fact that it said 3 bad reviews in a lifetime or something. That's something that didn't make sense. But if you click on it, it says something about the last 90 days or last 60 days or something. I'd have to read it again, But that's something normal. That's like on Amazon. If you had the past 60 days, past 90 days order defect rate, that you'll be contacted by Etsy. So this is a normal thing, and it's actually a good thing because you want to weed out all of the bad sellers who has bad orders and whatnot. And one thing about it is that I know a lot of people fear this, being contacted, being shut down, especially if you're depending on that income. Another thing is, I know I'm jumping around everywhere, but make sure you have multiple streams of income when it comes to e-commerce. But being shut down for just like a bad order defect, you gotta not let fear hold you back. So you still gotta give it your all and go all out for it. Don't be afraid of an order defect rate, all right? If you're doing your best, then you'll never have to worry about it. I've done 30,000 plus orders on Etsy, and I've only had a case open on me once, and it really wasn't my fault. It was the post office fault, but at the same time, that's kind of something you had to take the blame for. But other than that, I've never had another case. So if you're doing the best that you can and you know it, then to be honest, I just wouldn't worry about it. So is there money to be made on Etsy in 2020? Absolutely. You can still come in and crush it. Etsy's in a special place right now. I think the last time I looked, I remember the top marketplaces was Amazon, eBay, and then Etsy. So Etsy's a very super powerful marketplace. A lot of people are sleeping on it. You just gotta really find the right product to sell on there. You gotta be competitive, and you gotta treat it like a real job. Don't treat Etsy as something like you're just gonna throw something up and make some money. You really have to come in there and give it your all, give it your best, and I promise you, you're gonna kill it in 2020. So that's a quick wrap up of Etsy for 2020. I know it wasn't too much in detail. I'm still just getting settled in this new place of mine, so I just decided to put out some more content. I'm gonna try and do it more consistently this time, so make sure y'all subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.